Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am finally getting around to doing a question and answers video. I didn't ever think I'd be doing a video like this. I asked you guys on Insta stories if you would be interested and the majority of you said yes. I was a bit worried that I wouldn't have enough questions for this video because now I've got like well over 20 questions, so I'm hoping I get through them all because I really don't want this to be like a rambly video like most of mine are, but I'll try and get through them all. So I'm going to get started. I've got them on my phone here and I will put up on the screen the username of the person who asked me the question. The first one, I'll get straight into it. The first one is from Sophie and it says, "This is super nosy, but I'd love to know what you do for a job outside of blogging." Sophie, don't worry, I get asked that question all the time. Apart from being asked what I'm wearing, makeup and clothes wise, the next biggest question I get is about my job, so don't worry about that. In short, what I do is I own a marketing consultancy. Companies who want advice on marketing will bring in our consultants, and we mainly offer digital marketing strategy. We offer a lot more, but that's mainly our core of what we offer. So yeah, in short, that's what I do. Ellie asks, what apps, if any, do you use to edit photos? I want to up my photography game in 2018. I want also, what was your must-have beauty product in 2017? Okay, so I use different things from editing photos on my blog to Instagram. So if I'm using it for my blog, I use a website called Be Funky. I've talked about this company before, this website on my blog before. It's free, and I think for a free editing software, I think it is, personally, I think it's the best. I think it's better than PicMonkey or any other ones out there. It's really easy to use. You can pay extra for extra features, which I haven't done as of yet. For my Instagram photos, that's a whole different ball game. I use 3 different apps to edit my Instagram photos. I use Snapseed, VSCO and Facetune. So VSCO, probably lots of you use that already. It is adds filters onto your photos, and I always try and use the same filter so I've got some sort of consistency across my grid. I also use it to adjust brightness, contrast and sharpen the photo as well. I then use Snapseed if there's just one part of the photo I want to make brighter rather than the whole photo. It might just be the sky or a bit of a building or something like that. I will use Snapseed for that. And then I'll use Facetune if I want to whiten the background of something or if I want to highlight some detail of something. So yeah, I can potentially be putting a photo through 3 different apps before it gets on Instagram. There's quite a lot of editing work, let alone the amount of time it takes to take a picture. So yeah, Instagram I definitely do a lot more editing on than I do on my blog. And because you have the grid look, I like to have it as consistent as possible. Okay, next question. Oh, and what was your must-have beauty product in 2017? Okay, funnily enough, I have just published a blog post on my beauty and makeup hero products of 2017. So it was the products that I first tried in 2017 and that I absolutely raved about, absolutely love, like my favourites of the year that I tried. So if you want to check out my blog, you'll see them on there. So if I've got to pick one item from that list, oh God. When she says beauty, I wonder if she means that can be makeup as well, or it's got to be beauty. I'm going to give 2 answers because I'm not sure if it could. I would say it's the Tarte Pro Amazonian Clay Palette. It's absolutely brilliant eyeshadow palette. The variety of shades is fantastic. The pigmentation, everything about them I love. More info on the blog though, rather than me go on about it here, but it would be that product. And if it's not going to be makeup, then I would say it's the Roger & Gallet body moisturising lotions. I absolutely love them. I'm really fussy what body moisturiser I use, and I love those ones. Again, more info on the blog. Right, Bobby asks, what made you start your blog? Okay, so I was reading blogs for quite a few years prior to making my own one. I would always, before I bought any beauty item, I would always Google and see what the reviews were, and I generally always read blogs to find out what people thought about it. And I was doing this for quite some time, and generally I got the impression that people who wrote blogs were makeup artists, were specialists in their field, were fashion stylists, were people who, you know, they were already in that profession and then started a blog about it. But then as time went on and I started reading more of them, I started realising that these were just normal girls like me that were writing these blogs, and they had other full-time jobs, and they were just like someone like me who loved beauty, loved fashion, bought a lot of it, and wrote their thoughts about it. And they didn't have to be like a makeup artist or a beauty expert. So after I kind of realised this, I kind of thought, well, I could do this. I buy a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of opinions on things, and I've kind of always been one of those people, because I've always been into makeup and beauty, who my friends have always asked me, oh, what makeup do you use, and you know, what moisturiser do you use, and always asked me on those sort of topics. So I kind of thought, well, I'm asked a lot, I do buy a lot of stuff, why don't I just try it myself, because actually I could really help people with their buying decisions like I've been helped through blogs before. So yeah, really the thing was to start it was just because I wanted to help people with their purchasing decisions like the blogs were helping me, and that's how it started 3 years ago now. Okay, Bobby's also asked, what is your biggest highlight of your blogging journey so far? Hands down, it has to be modelling for L'Oreal. If you didn't know, earlier this year I modelled for the L'Oreal lipsticks, the Matte Addiction lipsticks that this year launched by L'Oreal. They're brilliant lipsticks, and I had the absolute pleasure of modelling shade 346, and I still have to pinch myself to this day to believe that I did that. So I think that's not only one of my biggest blogging highlights, but my life highlights. Who can say they've modelled for L'Oreal? So yeah, like still, wow, I just can't believe I'm saying those words. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Also from Bobby. I assume that means blog related. If it is blog related, then I see myself in probably exactly the same place I'm now, doing the same thing. I don't see that I would have grown that much. Just plodding along. That's it. I have no aspirations to go full time. You guys probably know that. Not only no aspiration, I don't want to go full time with blogging. It's not something I ever want to do. Yeah, so I'm happy with it being like a sideline thing for me, and I'll probably just be here doing the same thing. Right, Lauren, what's the best bit of advice you've ever been given? This one is tough. Do you know what? Most YouTubers would have prepared for this, wouldn't they? Read the questions through and have answers in their head. I should have done that. Best piece of advice I've ever been given. Okay, I've been given a lot, but I would say the best piece of advice I've ever been given is that only you are responsible for how you feel. I think sometimes there's a bit of a blame culture that goes on nowadays with, you've made me feel this way, you've made me feel that way. Actually, only you are responsible for how you feel. And don't get me wrong, some of the actions can be awful, but if you're feeling hatred or jealousy or anger or whatever it is, you're choosing to feel. You can say to yourself, I choose not to feel those feelings. And one of the reasons for this is because I really hated someone for something they'd done to me years ago, and I hated them, and I held on to that hate, and in the end I realised that doing that was only hurting me, and that person may have done something really awful, but it was, those emotions were only actually hurting me, and I can choose to stop hating that person, to stop feeling those, and that's what I did. And I think it's a really good life lesson, or bit of life advice to really have, is that you are in control of your feelings. If you feel any negative feelings and negative emotions, you can control the rest. You can just say to yourself, I'm not going to feel it. And I'm not saying it's easy to do, it's really, really not easy, but give it a go. Okay, Lauren has also asked, if you had to choose only one, would you go for a smoky dramatic eye or a bright lip? Now, Lauren obviously looks at my Insta story videos where I do a lot of makeup on there, and I pretty much always have one or the other. And I'd have to go, as much as I love a red lip, for a smoky eye, because I have fairly large lips anyway, and so I think even with a nude lipstick colour, they show enough. But smoky eye really does highlight the eye, and my eyes will be like little teeny weeny eyes if I didn't highlight them with some makeup. So I'd always say smoky eye, and I love blending eyeshadow, and then and a nude lip. She also asks, a third question, what's your most valuable life lesson you've learnt? Okay, I would say it's a bit sad really, but the most valuable life lesson I've learnt is not to trust people, or not to trust people freely and easily like maybe I have done in the past. And that could, I think now people who come into my life have got to earn my trust, because I've been hurt way too many times in the past, and I'm very bit guarded now with stuff, and so I don't let people in easily. And I think actually that's a really good thing that I'm like that, because otherwise you can get hurt too easily. And I'm not talking about just men here, by the way. In case people think I'm referring to ex-boyfriends, that's part of it, but I'm talking about people in life. I'm talking about family, I'm talking about friends, I'm talking about work people, whatever it may be. I'm not just referring to partners. Is that, yeah, be careful who you trust, I think, is my biggest life lesson. Justine has said, have you set any personal or blogging goals for 2018? Blogging goals, I would just like to do more YouTube, get more into that really. I've posted one video every 2 months, and I'd like to increase that, so that's really my only blogging goal. Personal goals is to go on as many holidays as possible, that's a goal every year, to shift some weight that I've put on from last year, and to get a better work-life balance, as I referred to earlier, is definitely high up there and something that I need to achieve this year, to get more sleep. Alicia Jade, how did you get into having your own business, and what's your favourite and worst part about it? Okay, I got into having my own business because I got made redundant from the job I was at, and I just thought it's now or never. So I didn't leave a job to go and set up my own company. I just lost my job, and I wasn't actually sure it was going to work out. I thought if it doesn't, I'll just get a job again. But 2 and a bit years down the line, it's worked out. So yeah, really pleased about that. And what's your favourite and worst part about it? There are a lot of both. My worst part about it is probably, so many, probably, it sounds bad, doesn't it? Probably the responsibility. Feel a huge amount of responsibility on my shoulders to, it's down to me as to whether my bills get paid every month. It's down to me as to whether my staff's bills get paid every month. And that is a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility, and yeah, you feel it. And what is the favourite part? Well, you guys can probably all imagine the good parts of being your own boss. If I want to have time off, I have time off, you can probably all imagine the good things. But probably the best part for me is the fact that I feel that my achievements and income there's no ceiling on it. Whereas if you're in a job, sometimes you can feel that, it's nowhere for me to get promoted to, and therefore when I get promoted I won't get a pay rise. Whereas for me, I feel like the world is my oyster. I feel like I can just keep going, keep expanding, keep growing, and keep achieving, and therefore with that comes additional money. And I think that the fact there's no limit put on that for me is really exciting, and I really like that. So yeah. Ali asks, how do you cope with the want to compare yourself to other bloggers? This is going to sound really odd, but I don't compare myself. I've compared myself in the fact that I know that there are really good writers out there, and I'm not a writer, and there are really good photographers, and I'm not a fantastic photographer or stylist, or their creative look on themselves, and I'm not that. I've talked about this in the blog post before. I'm just a plain Jane. I'm nothing special. I don't have anything above and beyond other bloggers out there to offer you guys. So I know that, and so I don't compare myself, because what's the point? And it doesn't bother me. I've asked myself why it bothers others so much, and why it doesn't bother me, and I can only assume it doesn't bother me is because I have no ambitions to get big, to make this a full-time living. And I would imagine if that is your ambition, if you want to become a big blogger and you want to earn a good income or go full-time with blogging, I'd imagine that's a lot of pressure on you, and therefore you end up comparing yourself. I don't have any ambitions of that sort to do that, and maybe that's why I don't compare myself. Yeah, I don't really know what to say in that. I really don't sit there and go, why has she got this, or why don't I have that, or why does she look like this and why don't I like that. It's just not me. So yeah. Emma has asked, what's your biggest achievement with work, blog and life in general? I'm not sure if she wants me to pick one. I'll answer all three. Work would be having my own business and making it successful. Blog, I've already said, would be the modelling for L'Oreal. And life in general, I have some things in my personal life I'm very proud of, but I'm not willing to talk about on here. I'm very open about not being open. I keep a lot of things private. I don't disclose on my blog or YouTube, and that's because I don't want everyone to know everything about my life. And there are some certain things in my life that I'm very, very proud of that I've achieved, but I'm not, as of yet, willing to share those with you. But there is some stuff, but I hope you don't mind me giving that answer. At least I'm being honest about it. Riri has asked, I wanted to know how you started blogging, as in what platform you use and how you upload pictures, etc. So yeah, I started blogging on Blogger. I'm still on Blogger now. I might switch, but I'm still on Blogger now. And yeah, it's really easy, really straightforward. It's really intuitive to use. New blog posts, upload pictures, it's very, very simple. Just create a Blogger account, a Google account, and off you go. Type some words, have a picture, upload it, and you're done. So yeah, that's how I started. I started off with a Blogspot domain like most people do, and then after a while I bought my own domain, devoted2pink.com. But yeah, you don't have to start off that way. Yeah, that's how I did it. Marta I should laughing again reading this. Any fitness advice? How to stay motivated? I saw your Insta story and I'm a bit ashamed as I haven't touched my gym stuff in weeks. Now, I never, ever, ever in a million years thought I would get a fitness related question, because come on. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. Now, the only reason Marta is saying this is because I'm currently filming this in between Christmas and the New Year period. Who knows when it will go out, that's when I'm filming it. And during this time I have had some time off from work, so I have gone to the gym a lot. And on Insta stories she has seen this, but this is not the norm for me. For the past few months, work has totally taken its toll, and I've been going to the gym once a week, if that. Prior to having my own company, I was going to the gym regularly 3 times a week. But do I have any fitness advice? How do I stay motivated? So fitness advice is find something you enjoy. I love classes and I love doing weights, and so they're generally the 2 things I do. If you can find a friend to go with, even better. My friend has just rejoined my gym and I'm so excited about that. And how do I stay motivated? Simply because I know how much better I feel when I work out. I feel so much better mentally, in myself, my body will look better, and that motivates me. And when you haven't been to the gym for a while, you kind of forget how good you feel. It's not until you go back and you're like, wow, I feel brilliant. So that really spurs you on, or it spurs me on anyway, to get my butt into gear and get down the gym, because I just generally feel so much better for it. And I don't feel so guilty about then what I eat as well. I like my food. Okay, Katie has asked, how do you get motivated and what do you do to spur yourself on? Okay, again, this is probably a really crap answer. I don't know, because it's in my DNA to be motivated. Since I was a young child, I've always been someone who loves to achieve and is very self-motivated. When I was at school, I was never had to get told to do homework. I always went up and did it. I remember studying for my GCSEs and my mum actually telling me that I need to stop studying because I was just doing it for hours and hours on end. It's just naturally in me to be motivated. I do find writing lists helps. I like to cross things off a list. I'm very much a list person. I have lists for everything. But in terms of how do I spur myself on and stay motivated, I'm really rubbish answer, but I've got nothing to really say how I do. I don't know why I am. I just naturally am that way, and I don't know what I do or how I do it, but I just am. And what are your 3 desert island items? This is a tough question, Katie. Obviously, the obvious one is you're going to want a phone. You should want a phone for help to get off the desert island. So, some sort of satellite phone so I can call for help. Number 1. Number 2 is to bring someone with me to have fun. I've been pretty boring on a desert island or myself for ages, so bring a friend with me. Number 3 would be sun cream. Because I'm so pasty and white, I burn within about 5 minutes, so I need a high factor sun cream so I can enjoy the desert island in the sun. That was one. That'd be my 3 items. Right, Jessica, what are your best blogging habits? Oh, I don't really know. One of the things I do actually, and I do think it's a really good idea, is I will never write a blog post and publish it on the same day. I will always write it, and then I'll come back to it the next day or days later, give it another read over, and I every time will find either a spelling mistake, or not a spelling mistake, a typo I should say, or more than likely what I'll find is a better way to say something. With any other blogging habits, I try and take low photos in one go. When I've got my photography mojo on, I like to just be at a photography session and do quite a few hours in one go and just take loads of photos, rather than do photos for one blog post and do photos for another blog post, and just take loads in one go. I find when I'm in that sort of creative zone, that's what I like to do. How do you keep a good work-life and blog balance? This is from Jessica still. Okay, this is easy. I don't, and shockingly bad at it. 2017 has been completely work dominated. I've not had a good life blog balance at all. I feel incredibly guilty to my family and friends and to myself, because I owe myself some downtime and I haven't given it to myself. So I don't know how to do it, and it's something I need to try and learn to do for next year. Chloe asks, out of all your designer bags, which one is your favourite? At the moment, I would say my favourite is the Chloe Nile, and that's only because I have used it so much since I've got it. This won't be my best handbag of all time. You know, that has got a shelf life on it, that handbag, I know. But definitely currently today, if I was to pick one up, which would it be? It would be the Chloe Nile, for sure. What is your secret to looking young? I love you, Chloe. That is a fab question. Thank you so much. Okay, so there's two things I should be doing more of, and they are drinking less alcohol and getting more sleep. That would definitely help. I should be doing more of that, and I don't. But things I do drink a lot of water, and I also do the full facial routine, morning and night minimum. So, you know, I'm talking double cleanse, I'm talking toner, I'm talking a serum or an oil and a moisturiser, I'm talking face masks when I like once a week. Now, for anyone, any sort of beauty bloggers out there, beauty YouTubers watching this video, that's probably the norm for you. You probably do the same. But I don't know about your friends, but my friends, they're like soap and water and a bit of moisturiser if you're lucky. You know, they think I'm crazy with lotions and potions that I pull out and my wash bag, all the stuff that's in it. They're like, You know, if they take makeup off at night, it's just a face wipe. Whereas, no, I don't do that. I've also got to say, it doesn't matter how drunk I am for a night out, if I come back, I still do my full routine every time. I don't think I've ever been so drunk that I don't do my full routine. I have to. So yeah, I do use a lot of good products on my face, and I would assume that may be part of it, and the water. Chloe has also asked, do you worry about the pressure to meet the one and have children? Yes, I do. Not so much the pressure from the outside world, although you do feel it, definitely, from other people thinking you're odd for being 35 and single and no children, but more so pressure from myself. I would like to have children, and I know the biological clock is ticking, so the pressure is more coming from myself worrying about it. But what can you do? I wrote a blog post about this actually, if you want to read it, and it's the one thing in my life I can't control. But do you know what? You've just got to live your life. Sorry, my text message. You've just got to live your life. Let me put my phone on silent and be happy. And you never know it's around the corner, and you have to just enjoy it. Enjoy it. If you sit there just worrying and moping around and being upset about not having something, then you're just going to be unhappy, and that's just a silly way to live your life. You've got to make the most out of it, and you've got to enjoy the life you do have. So yeah, it's a pressure, it's a worry, but I don't let it control my life and my thoughts. And lastly, last question. Any tips, again from Chloe, any tips on how to make high heels comfier? So if any of you guys follow me Instagram stories, you'll know that I pretty much only wear heels. 90% of the time I am wearing heels. I love them, I've always been that way. So I think my feet are kind of hardened to them. but I wouldn't say I've got any tips about how to wear them, but I have got some tips on the type of shoes you should buy that will make them comfier. So for me, the comfiest type of heels are ones where your feet are strapped in or enclosed somehow. So basically not the court shoe, the sort of court pump where your foot can just slip out, because I find that you'll sort of have to grip on to stop your foot from coming out, and also they can rub a lot more. So I always try and find shoes that have straps on them, because your feet is sort of trapped in the shoe and there's not as much rubbing. Or if you're wearing high heel boots, obviously your feet are in them. But anything which generally, if it's a shoe with a strap on it, they're the shoes I tend to go for. I find them a lot more comfy. Also trying to find a heel, anything above 4 inches, 4.5 inches now for me is a no-go. I can't do 6 inches anymore. And if you can try and find ones with a bit of a platform sole, they help reduce the height of the heel because they counteract each other slightly, so that's better. And yeah, they're generally the type of shoes I would go for. So I know you can get a sort of slip-in sort of cushions that you put in your shoes. I don't personally wear them, but I wore them years ago. I haven't tried them recently, maybe I should. But yeah, I would say try and find heels with straps on them, because I find that a lot comfier. Anyway, that is it. That is my Q&A over. Sorry it's gone on for so long. Hopefully you found it slightly interesting, and if anyone's interested I could do it again in the future with different questions. And yeah, thank you for watching, and if it's your first time watching, you're a bit interested, then please do subscribe. And I try and produce all different types of videos on this channel. And yeah, I'll speak to you guys soon.